I'm Nick Specht.
And I'm Mike Specht.
And we're doing the 2020 Tokyo Basketball Arena. So for our arena, again, we wanted to touch on the culture of Japanese architecture, and we wanted to really capture how the architecture is, we can capture the modern and past Japanese architecture. So like these buildings, so these buildings, you can see like there's these long sweeping lines for the modern Japanese architecture, and we want to also capture how like the tiers of the past Japanese architecture can fit into our stadium design. Do you like get rid of this? Alright, so location and transportation. So we wanted to make sure that our location of the stadium was pretty much like center Tokyo. So here's our spot right here. It's right next to the Olympic baseball stadium and right next to the old Olympic Center stadium. So we chose this spot because you can see there's, you can't see in this picture, but there's a light rail right there. There's many things to do. There's a lot of Japanese restaurants. There's things to do when no games are going on. The land is pretty flat because there's been a previous practice baseball field on there. So we aren't really taking out much of any vegetation or any structure that was there, so we thought it would be a good spot for the stadium.
Alright, so this is our 3D design of the stadium. We have, it's 3 levels to it. The square footage is about 900,000 square foot, which is comparable to the size of Madison Square Garden. We have pillars all around the outside of the stadium, so these top 2 levels are bigger than the bottom level. You can see that there's a little bit of an overhang here to kind of represent the old Japanese architecture, how it goes with different tiers. We decided to go with a flatter roof so we could put solar panels on the top of the south side. This will produce the most energy for us from solar energy. And around all these pillars, we are actually going to put vegetation to kind of bring the green back into the stadium, let everyone know that it's trying to be a green stadium. Now I'm going to run you through the floor plans a bit. This is the bottom floor of the stadium where the players will be. There's going to be about 16 sections of seating in here, which is going to be over the top of all this structure. The rooms in there are going to be a training room, a locker room, and a conference room in this little area right here. We're going to have concession stands along the outside along with a team store and some extra storage space in the bottom for maintenance reasons. Right here is what you would see if you're sitting on the floor level of the stadium, if you have floor seating to it, so decent view, I would say, but onto the second floor. This is going to be, there's not going to be actual like stands here. We're going to have all boxes around the outside, so it's going to be everything towards the middle. This is the view down here of what you would see from the second level. In our box, we're going to have 3 sets of tables that you can sit on. Behind it, there's going to be a bathroom and extra standing room. You're going to have room like service food brought to you. So that's the reason why there's not a lot of outside vendors on the second level.
There's also there's 24 suites for just single families, and then there's also 10 extra suites for companies or more than one family. And there's 1 press box right at midcourt for the commentator.
Last, we're going to move on to the third level of seating. This is where the bulk of the seating is going to be. We're going to have 24 sections of seating, which are going to go up almost entirely to the roof. We're gonna have to cut it off about 20 feet before it gets to the top of the roof. So you can see all the sections over here. On this third level, we figure it's gonna be more of like a family-friendly level. So we have an arcade for the kids in there, and then up on top over here we have a cafe with general Japanese traditional food in there, along with a sports bar on the other side. All around here we have a patio, so you could go outside and enjoy the summer weather while you're at the stadium. Right along the barrier on the outside, we're gonna put an extra couple feet to put some green around there, catch some of the rainwater that falls off the roof onto there. And along with the roof, we're gonna have drainage systems, like gutters on the top of it to catch the water, and it's gonna be drained down to a storage tank.
Alright, so we wanted to really hit on heat control when designing the building, so we had some passive cooling types like night flush cooling and solar chimney. This is a picture of a solar chimney, so it catches the air from the outside, and it will vent it out and pretty much collect any hot air and vent it out so it can cool down the stadium. We wanted to make sure the stadium was as cool as possible for the athletes, so they're not overheating during the event, as well as we want the audience to be comfortable and enjoying their time here. We'll have automated HVAC systems that will go on when the stadium gets a little overheated, so they won't be on the whole time, but whenever we need cooling, they will kick on until it reaches a temperature that will be cool enough for the audience and fans. And then, like Mike said before, we're gonna have urban vegetation around the columns, so we can show that there's green and reduce some thermal mass.
Here are some of our green features. We decided to go with fluorescent lights throughout the stadium around the outside. This is mostly because even though they don't give off the most lighting, we're gonna have a lot of windows around the outside, so we're gonna have mostly just daylight in there. For the lighting on top of the basketball court, we're going with the
High potassium, the high sodium.
the high sodium lighting. These take a little while to kick on, but once they get going, they're the most energy efficient. We're also going to have flood lamps on top of them to really increase the area that the light is shining. With this, we also are going to have a lot of bike racks around the stadiums. Since it's in the center city, there's going to be a lot of foot traffic and a lot of bike traffic, so we want to encourage that type of traffic around instead of transportation by car. We want to encourage mass transportation, such as the light rail. And finally, I want to touch on the acoustics of the stadium. We don't want to have, we're trying to limit the amount of speakers we have in the stadium, so we looked up some designs, and wood all around the stadium really helps the acoustics flow, along with the open area. So with the circular shape and open area, along with the wood that we have on the floors, it increases the acoustics of the stadium.
So here's our LED checklist. We went through it and pretty much hit every point on the USGBC website. So went through and we got a lot of our points from our transportation, and you can see we missed some points for some views because we weren't sure of what the people would be looking at. It would probably just be city, so it wouldn't really be the best, but we made it work. We wanted to encourage traditional vendors from like around town, so we didn't have to bring food from all over the world and be that and decrease our carbon footprint that way. And that is it. Does anyone have any questions?
With the style and like how the stadium is like, kind of like the overall shape, are you worried at all about like obstructed views or anything?
Of like from the
Like, cause it's like,
from the state in the stands.
yeah, cause usually like a stadium's like
Yeah,
for
it's
basketball circular, and yours is like a pentagon, or
Yeah,
not a pentagon,
well,
a hexagon.
It gets a little tighter in the corners, but we're gonna try to limit the amount of seating that we have in the corners, so you don't have to worry about your view being blocked by anybody else.